Hey planner friends, how's it going? Thanks so much for stopping by my channel. My name is Ryan and this is A Man with the Plans, and we are back and we are talking about all things sinking funds. I did a video a while back, I think it was 2018 or 2019, I'll leave it linked over here, talking all about my sinking funds. But the one thing I've learned about sinking funds in general is that they change with your life, right? They evolve as you do, and they're meant to serve a purpose based on the current phase of life that you're in. I'm gonna go ahead and do some updating to my sinking funds. I feel like over time I've generally gotten more conservative and added more sinking funds, but let's talk about first, what is a sinking fund? Great question, but before we do that, if you like all things planning, budgeting, and personal development, go ahead and click that red subscribe button so you can spend some time getting to know me and you can see all of my videos in your feed. A little bit about me, my name is Ryan. I live in the Midwest, Minneapolis, and I am living on one income, it's just me, and I'm working my way through the Dave Ramsey baby steps. I've completed 1 and 2, and now I'm just over halfway for number 3, and I am looking forward to really sort of moving through these steps and kind of living my best financial life. And one of the ways that I've done that is through the use of sinking funds. So the idea behind a sinking fund is that there are expenses you know that you'll have to make once a year, twice a year, quarterly, and instead of having to budget for them in your monthly budget, you can put away a little bit of money each month, and when that expense actually comes across, you can just go ahead and transfer that money over, and it's never gonna stop you from actually moving towards your financial goals, whether that's paying off debt or saving for a down payment for a home or saving for retirement or kids' college. And so I had 6 sinking funds that I always just kind of kept on hand, and I'm adding one longer term one this. So we're gonna start with these sinking funds, and generally the way that I map this out is that I put the total amount that I wanna have saved throughout the year, so that's either the expense itself or just a general amount, and then I'll go ahead and divide that out, so on average, I round it up a bit, how much it would be per month that I'm contributing to my sinking fund. And by the way, I use a Capital One 360 account. It's really simple for transfers. I'll leave a link down below. I think there was a bonus for you guys when you signed up at no cost or anything like that, but I don't know if they're doing that anymore, but you can go ahead and just check those out there. So for me, the first one that I always use is a medical sinking fund. So I technically have an FSA that I use. Let me zoom in a little bit more so you guys can see that better. I have a flex spending account that I contribute. I think it's $250 every year for like copays and stuff like that, but I just know that there are situations where I might go over that and need to tap into this. I thankfully, fingers crossed for next year, haven't tapped into this at all, but the total I like to keep on hand at any given moment is $300. So when you divide that by 12, the monthly contribution that I'm setting aside for medical sinking fund is just 25 bucks. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward, nothing crazy. The next thing that I know comes around every single year, and here in Minnesota we have yearly registration for what's called car tabs, so these like little stickers that go on your license plate and kind of every single year. The strange thing about Minnesota is they're based on the value of your car, so it'll generally go down over time, but buying a new car is actually a pretty big investment when it comes to these. So I always estimate that my car tabs are going to be $280. And so that means that if I divide that by 12, more or less it comes down to $24 a month. So that's in August, and I know that that's the month that I'll need to have it by. So I can be able to keep saving that all year long, and then just when August rolls around and I go to the Department of Public Safety and just kind of pay that, I don't even have to worry about it. I just initiate the transfer and my checking account stays completely the same, which is crazy. The next account that I have, sinking fund, is for travel. And so this was never actually for like fun travel. I do think at some point I'd like to up that so I have a travel fund. This was really meant for family things like weddings and anything that had to happen around visiting family members or funerals or stuff like that. It was just my way of being able to be connected to my family. I'm the only one that lives out in the Midwest. The rest of them are scattered across the country. Most are in New York. So on average, $400 is a standard New York trip, flight, and those types of things. And so I just like having that waiting for me. It just makes me feel like I have peace of mind to know that if I need a last minute flight, I just book it on Delta, transfer the funds over, and away I go. So $400 across 12 months really comes down to just $34 a month. $34, just putting that away, not even having to think about it. it's going to be easier for me. And honestly, what I do is I make all of my sinking funds at the end, a total. I make that as part of the line item of my budget every single month, so it's a non-negotiable, right? Moving down the line, we have Christmas. So I put $1,000 away for Christmas this year, and I definitely don't think I'm going to use all of it. I'm actually dropping that to $750. So that's Christmas cards, gifts, that I might even, if I'm feeling crazy, include my flight back home in there as well. I just think that's gonna be the easiest way to do it. And so when you divide that by 12, $62.50 a month is how that parses itself out. And what I do is I keep all the receipts and I just deduct at the end of the holiday season the total from my Capital One account, and then it's like I never had to worry about it in the first place. The next sinking fund that I use is for Go Wild. This is a planner conference. I went in 2019 with Jody and Emily from YouTube Land. Jody is Life's Organized Chaos and Emily is Favorite Daughter Emily. I'll leave their stuff linked down below so you can check them out. I have a fun, we have a fun vlog series. We each did one video of the day, and so you can go ahead and check those out. It was such a fun experience, and 2020's was canceled, but 2021's is going to be in Los Angeles, California. We're going to Llamawood. They're known as llamas, so it'll be really, really fun, and I've just been putting money away to make sure. I don't know how much it'll come out to in the end, but I'm saving $1,500. If there's some left over and I don't use all of it, I'm just gonna put it into the sinking fund for next Go Wild because I really love this conference. I get so much out of it. It's such a blast. And so I know that I'll be going, so might as well save for it. So that means that this comes down to $125 a month, which is kind of a lot. And I also don't anticipate, since I'm gonna be rooming with Emily for the next go around, I'm hoping I don't have to use all of this, especially with the airline credit I have left over from this year. But you never know. It's just nice to kind of have that set aside along the way so I don't have to worry about it. The next sinking fund I'm getting this is for gifts, and for weddings and anniversaries and birthdays and other stuff for people that are important to me. 2020 has really made me value the little things and appreciating people and what they mean to you in your life, and so I am really committed to celebrating those smaller things, even if that is just a card, you know, from the Dollar Tree and just writing a note in there. I just think it means so much. So I'm shooting to have $250 for the whole year, and that comes out to just $21 a month. Not a huge expense. Just something pretty simple that I want to make sure that I'm doing. Nothing crazy, but I think it's going to make me feel like I have more peace of mind in terms of that. And so all of this just ends up in a Capital One 360 account. And so the last sinking fund that I have, my car recently turned 5 years old. It's a Subaru, so I know that it takes good care of itself. So the final sinking fund I have here is for car maintenance, and I don't have a total for this one, and I'll tell you why. My car recently hit 5 years old, and I expect to drive this car until it can be driven no more. I bought it brand new. I got caught in the trap of like, everyone deserves a brand spanking new car, and so I went through that whole process. I paid the thing off early, and I'm going to use it as an investment until the car can no longer drive itself. That being said, it's 5 years old and has just above 50,000 miles on it, so I'm a little bit under the mileage estimates. However, now is the point in time where I want to start planning for more expensive repairs. So I recently had a situation where I had to get new brakes on the car, and there was something else covered under warranty, and so, you know, things added up. And if you look at my old sinking funds, I had a car repair fund that was like $400. And between an oil change, getting a new battery, and something else, it was gone in an instant. And I realized that instead of having a total amount that I just fund and leave it, I'm going to just put $50 away from now until the cows come home, and that'll be used for an ongoing car maintenance fund, and eventually, at a certain point, and I have to buy a new car, it'll be a car replace fund. So I just know that if I start now, when my car she drives great. I love her. We don't go very far, especially this year. She drives fantastically, and I take great care of her. She's in a garage downstairs, but you know, I just want to make sure that I am not left without a vehicle. That's just a fear of mine. I want to be hamstrung by the fact that I have a car that's not functioning. So $50 a month from now, hopefully 7-ish years down the line, like that's a nice chunk of change. Actually, I'm curious. Let's do the math on that. So you figure if we do $50 a month times 12 months, $600 bucks. And you do that times 7 years, that's $4,200 to start with for a down payment on a car. Plus, I'm sure I'll have my emergency fund ready to go, and maybe I step the savings up as my car starts to get a little bit older, but it's just putting me in pole position to have money ready when I need it. And that's really what this is all about, is making me feel like I have peace of mind. And it's not a huge total. If we add all of these up, the grand total that I'm going to be putting in for my sinking funds per month is going to be $341.50, which I don't think is that much money. That is basically my old car payment. It was like $341.55 or something like that. And so now the fact that I'm debt-free completely means that I'm putting that money towards things that are important for me and things that I know I need. If you multiply this number by 12, by the way, it comes to $4,098, which means that through the course of the year, I'll have saved up just $4,100 that I can either save or use in moments where I can travel, you know, get my family Christmas gifts, go to a conference that brings me joy, share gifts with people in my life that are important for me, re-register my car. All these things that are important, I plan ahead for now, and they no longer become a thing that like busts my budget for the month. And I'm like, well, I guess we'll work on my financial goals next month. No, this is being intentional, and this feels really good. So that's gonna about wrap up this video on sinking funds for 2021. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I greatly appreciate it, and it does help our channel out. And again, if you haven't yet subscribed and you love budgeting, decorative planning, personal development, go ahead and click that subscribe button so we can get to know each other better, and you can see my content in your feed whenever it's published. You can follow me over on Instagram, I'm @amanwiththeplans. You can also follow me over on Facebook. I do some giveaways over there. But yeah, hoping to get into a more organized schedule for 2021, but I hope you guys have a great rest of your year and a great beginning of 2021. Let me know what you guys use for sinking funds, which ones I might have missed in the comments down below. I always appreciate your advice. You guys have been so helpful along the way. All right, talk to you soon. Bye, planner friends.